Hey guys, welcome to another video. My name is Shannon and this is Magic Mentality. I'm a Reiki practitioner and spiritual healer who brings awareness to the spiritual ramifications of postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis. Now, huge trigger warning for this video, all right? Whenever we are talking about mental illness, of course, there has to be a trigger warning. It can trigger many people, okay? But this video in particular hits home for me and for so many women who are suffering in silence. Today, we're talking about how postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis can be exacerbated or even caused by the lack of spousal support and because of spousal abuse, particularly spousal sexual assault. Now, this is something I've experienced personally, like I said before. So I know that these subjects are very sensitive and extremely triggering for people. So if this is something that you are going through right now, please keep yourself safe. If this is something that is going to be way too triggering for you, please put your self-care and your self-love first. That's what Magic Mentality is all about. It's all about taking care of ourselves and loving ourselves and making sure that we stay good. Okay? Now, that being said, this is a subject that needs to be talked about. It needs to be brought to light because it's way too common. Okay? And this is something that is happening all the time, every day. And you'll be able to see in just these few videos that we showed today. Now, here's your chance to go ahead and leave the video. Other than that, I hope that you stay. I hope that you listen. I hope that you become enlightened. And I hope that you become encouraged. All right, let's go ahead and get into our first video, guys. And this one starts off with a woman who, she just gave birth a couple of days ago. It's a TikTok video. And those are the main ones that we're going to be looking at today. So here we go.
Gave birth 2 days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago, and you came out of the hospital straight away. You've been sitting around all this time, so you can make a roast.
To send me home to get rest at home.
Yeah, but you've been doing nothing but resting. Look at all these cups of tea for a start. I mean, look, I'm just saying.
I'm sorry that I need caffeine to keep going with a newborn baby.
Yeah, and it's not easy for me either. Right, I didn't give birth, no, but I'm good sleeping like you, so I'm knackered. You're awake, so my mum and dad are coming, and you know what they're like, they always want a roast. So...
They always want a roast. And I've not just given birth 2 days before. You can get up and make it.
My bad, guys. My computer is acting all types of wonky because the message is so big.
We know that. I've tried. So what's the time?
Why are you gaslighting me?
You always say I'm gaslighting you. I'm not.
You're trying to manipulate me into making a roast for your mum and dad because you can't be asked. Well, do you know what? I've just cooked for the last 9 months. Your kid.
I'll sit with them, with the baby, talk to them. You got like a couple of hours to
yourself.
yourself.
You sit on your ass with the baby while I'm stood slaving over a hot stove. It doesn't work like that.
Set me ass with the baby, so you say it's easy.
This guy. This is Rich.
Yeah, so
this is Rich.
You go in the kitchen then, can't you? What's the problem?
So then you can go in the kitchen then, can't you? This guy. He definitely didn't deserve this woman putting her life on the line to have his damn kid. Like, honestly, he really didn't. In no way, shape, or form did he deserve that. I mean, you hear her say, like, she had a baby 2 days ago. 2. And he's complaining that she's sitting around or that she's sleeping And she's like, they sent me home to get rested. Like, you came home right away. He wants her to get up and make a roast because his parents are coming over. I'm pretty sure they're coming over to see the brand new baby. And he's complaining about all the cups around. You go wash the cups then. How about you get up and make her coffee? This is just it. Honestly, it is just ridiculous how insensitive these men can be when it comes to having a baby. And that's abuse. And I'm happy that she was able to, really call him out on that. She was able to call him out and say, you're manipulating me. You're manipulating me. You are gaslighting me. That is abuse. That is mental, emotional, psychological abuse. To try to make her feel guilty for not cleaning and cooking and getting a roast and having all this stuff ready for his family after she just had a baby. How dare you? How dare you sit there and try to make her feel guilty after having a kid? Yours, by the way, sir. Nobody else planted that seed in that soil. You did. You did, sir. And you have no appreciation for that? Loser. Oh my God. And like that's the thing, like that's the type of pressure that's put on women. That is the type of pressure that we have to deal with because we have to take care of everything. It doesn't matter like how you're feeling. It doesn't matter that you just gave birth. It doesn't matter that you brought a whole new psyche, a whole new person into this world. It doesn't matter. It's still expected that you are still going to keep up with the house and do whatever your spouse tells you to do or whatever they expect for you to do. And it's a bunch of bullshit. It really is. Oh my God. So now this is where we get into espousal sexual assault. Okay. And I chose this first video just because it's mind-boggling to me. And even seeing the disconnect with all of it, even with other women when it comes to a sexual assault, just hours, if not moments after having a child. Not to mention what has happened beforehand, what has happened during. And like I'm so passionate about this, guys, because this is having postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis is the whole reason I created Majik Mentality. The entire reason. That's what it came from. And so as you can see, this one says, I just read a L&D nurse talking about the multiple times she's caught couples having relations after childbirth before the epidural has even worn off. And she says, our society is disturbing. Our society is disturbing, ma'am? Yes. Yes, it is. Our patriarchal society is very disturbing. Because do we really think that these multiple instances and these multiple women in these scenarios were fully willing participants? Hmm? And and let's get into it. Let's get into it. What does the law constitute as sexual assault? Hmm? What does the law constitute as sexual assault? Let's see. Let's go ahead and see. Because when it comes to our society, the majority of people see sexual assault as a woman being snatched up off the street by a stranger and being beaten up and totally and completely obliterated in order for it to be seen as sexual assault. Not to mention sexual assault within marriages was not a thing for a really long time. Let's see. When was spousal sexual assault put into the law books? Spousal sexual assault, historically often referred to as marital rape, became a crime in all 50 U.S. states by 1993. It wasn't even a law in all 50 states until 1993. Isn't that ridiculous? Imagine the suffering. Imagine. Though the process of legally criminalizing it didn't begin until the 70s. Sick. Sick. And so we wonder why it this nurse is talking about multiple instances of this. It is because it is not talked about. It is not seen as something to be of concern because it's women going through it. This is sick. If I was a nurse and walked in on that, I would call the police. But then you have to think about, oh, this poor woman just doesn't want to be alone after having a baby. Do you know how that feels? I'm sure there are many women who do. There are many women who had to sit there in the delivery room by themselves. Who had to deliver a baby by themselves and then go home by themselves. Yeah, they know what I'm talking about. They know what that feels like, and it's every woman's fear when they go in to have a child is to be alone, especially for the father of that child not to be there. Our society is disturbing indeed. Let's go ahead and take a look at this last video. And I mean, this one right here made me want to throw up. And it's only because, like, it's true. This is something that absolutely happens. Absolutely. And in too many of these situations, it's like, how would self-love, more self-love and self-care have played a part in this, in preventing this? Now, as we watch this video, keep in mind what I just said about that worst fear of being alone after just having a baby.
To me after breaking my postpartum recovery out of fear of being cheated on. I was just 5 days postpartum after having my baby via C-section. As soon as I got home from the hospital, my husband
Did you hear that? Via
started
C-section.
pressuring me. According to him, it had already been too many days without intimacy, and he had his needs. I explained that I was still in recovery. and that we were supposed to wait 40 days before resuming anything. When he heard that, he said he wasn't going to wait, and that if I didn't want him to cheat on me, I should break the recovery rules. I started crying, but he kept arguing and pushing me, saying I was being dramatic. Out of fear of being betrayed or abandoned, I
Do you hear this? Do
gave
you
an
see
end.
this?
Broke
Yeah.
my postpartum recovery even. Though I was only 5 days after major surgery. Soon after, I had to be rushed to the hospital due to severe hemorrhaging. When I got there, they immediately took me into surgery. But during the procedure, I went into cardiac arrest. And then the worst happened. You won't believe what happened to me. Continued in part 2.
Now, that video was super popular, okay? Extremely popular on TikTok, okay? And I mean, I had to do a Stitch video with it because I was going, I was like, this is insane. But what I also noticed was that I believe that entire story. Yeah, it was an AI voice that was reading it off and showed some lady in the hospital. And there's quite a few videos of it. But the thing is that I have firsthand experience of this. So that's why it's just not unbelievable to me. And because I know that I've talked to different nurses, even while I was in the hospital, they're just like, you will not believe how many women come back for their 6-week checkup and they're pregnant. It is ridiculous. And these men ought to be ashamed. They need to be arrested and in prison, in jail, never to be around women and children again. Especially if you can do this to your own partner, to the person that carried your child. And for people who are just like, let's see, let's go ahead and get a little more education on this. Let's do that. But looking at what can happen. Because I did. I went ahead, I looked it up. And let's see here. It says, there is no publicly documented report of a specific incident where a woman was left in critical condition after a husband demanded sex following childbirth. Okay, that's fine. There's no publicly documented report. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Because how many women are actually like, it's already, the numbers are already skewed from it not being reported, from sexual assault not being reported just in like a dating case or a casual meeting or anything. So imagine how skewed the numbers are when it comes to spousal sexual assault. Imagine. Of course, there's no big public documented report because women are programmed to feel like there is this great stigma about being a baby mama. And so we'll sit there and throw the love that we have for ourselves aside and sacrifice for our family, sacrifice our mind, our body, our spirit, our joy, our light, everything. It's so sad. And it continues, however, sources confirm that abusive behavior from a partner in the postpartum period, including demands for sex and disregard for a woman's physical and emotional health, is a form of intimate partner violence and can lead to serious injury. So there may not be any like public documented, so-called public documented incidences. I guarantee you this is something that has come up. Guaranteed. And here are the type of dangers that women are put in when it comes to this situation. You could you imagine? Do you see what's going on here? It is demonic. It is one of the most evil things I can think of. You are taking a woman at one of the most vulnerable times, right after she has given birth. And these are men who are the fathers of these children that they're having, abusing them. What is wrong with you? Listen to these type of consequences that happens to a woman having sex before that 6-week mark, just that 6 weeks. Medical professionals typically recommend that a woman wait at least 6 weeks after delivery before resuming penetrative sexual activity. This is the time generally needed for the body to heal. Look at this. Infection. This is risk for both C-section and vaginal deliveries. Thinking, oh, just because, you didn't give a vaginal birth, then you should be fine down there. Hemorrhaging. Intercourse can disrupt this healing and cause heavy bleeding. In very rare cases, an air bubble can enter a blood vessel and be fatal. Rare does not mean zero. Imagine how many women have died after this, and the woman was looked at as, oh, how could she? Do you know on the video of the woman in the hospital, do you know there were comments from other women saying, when are women going to realize no man is worth your life? So wearing that, do you not see that you're blaming the victim? Because in that moment, she's not thinking about saving that man. She's thinking about saving herself. She's thinking about what society is going to look at her as. She's thinking about how hard it's going to be to not have the man that she had this baby with be there for her. She's going off of the entire programming that we've always had is to be here to serve and to satisfy and to gratify. Increased pain and long-term issues. And then we get into, look at this. Look at this. Marital rape and postpartum abuse. It's a form of sexual abuse and intimate partner violence for a husband to force or to pressure his wife into sex before she is physically and emotionally ready. And this doesn't even have to it doesn't even have to do with just after postpartum. It's ever. And here's this first one. Now, remember how we said, like, usually it's looked at like, sexual assault, and, the woman has to be like held down and beat up and all this stuff, right? Look here. Does this talk about beating? No. It says coercion and guilt. Coercion. That video, the man was making his wife feel guilty for not cleaning up and making a roast. That's abuse. But now this is where they talk about it being in a sexual way. Coercion and guilt. A partner may use guilt threats or pressure to coerce their spouse into sex. It's about power and control. This is where we need to keep ourselves safe. This is where we need to be honest and we have to tell the truth. And any woman who is watching my video right now, and this is something that's going on, please keep yourself safe and start game planning on how to get out of there. Because trust me, I know from experience, this does not get better. Let's take a look at this last video here, guys. So this is another creator that I stumbled upon, another male and a black male who is speaking up for women. And I really appreciate this. And they're holding other men accountable. And I want you to hear what he says to this crazy in his comments. And yeah, I'm saying crazy because he ain't right. He's sick somewhere in the damn head. Listen to this.
Where's the compassion for men's hormones and chemical imbalances? Also, how long had he gone without it before she gave birth? Also, just because a woman said her husband said that doesn't mean it's the whole story. They love leaving out important details, which is lying. So a couple things, right? Some women, because of the nature of the pregnancy, the men, their husband or father of their child, cannot have sex with them for the entire pregnancy. So he would go 9 months, 8 months, depending on when they found out they were pregnant. Some women don't feel comfortable having sex until after 6 months, 8 months, a year. What you're saying is very dismissive to what the woman went through. After the baby is born, they literally have to wear a diaper because so much blood is coming out of them. And in those 6 weeks, if a man forces himself on her, because that's what the husband did, he forced himself on her. Coercion is forcing. Okay, just.
What does it say? If you coerce your wife to have sex with you, you don't love her. It doesn't matter if you didn't beat her up. It doesn't matter if you didn't hold her down and all this other crap that they try to say this is what is considered rape. This is what's considered sexual assault.
If he forces himself on her, that's going to create infection, cause even more blood loss, which will result in postpartum hemorrhage that can literally take the woman out of you. So your comment is inhumane. It really is. It really is. I don't know you. I've never seen you before in my comments, but this is literally the definition of inhumane. And let's say you don't know none of the stuff that I said about hemorrhage, about excessive bleeding, how it could cause complications for postpartum. You don't know none of that. The sheer fact that you just witnessed this woman in labor push this baby out, and you see the after effects, how she's weak, she's tired. If she's breastfeeding, she has no strength, and you still want to get it on? Nah, bro, you got to get yourself checked. Nah.
Yeah. Get yourself checked.
It's not hate, it's selfish though.
Yeah.
But where's the compassion
Very
for men's
selfish.
hormones
Get
and
yourself
chemical
checked.
imbalances? Also,
That is
how
exactly
long?
right. These are very sad situations. And it it makes me so angry because how could self-love have prevented this? Because if you love yourself, you can truly love other people. If you love yourself, you give love to others. Not obsessed with yourself, not only thinking about yourself, not selfishness, but actually loving yourself. If you love yourself, you wouldn't hurt your wife or your girlfriend in this way, especially after they have given birth to your child and you already know that this is going to be the main person taking care of your child. And with us women, self-love in these situations would be our throat chakra would be healed. We would have our no. But the difficult thing about that is many of our no's were taken away from us at very young ages. This phenomenon of this brutality against women, this phenomenon of sexual assault, the snatching and taking and demanding of women's bodies has to stop. There's something wrong here to the point where it is not abnormal to hear about it. It is not abnormal to find out that a young girl has been sexually assaulted or that a woman is facing this type of abuse in her own home. Once I learned how to love myself and to heal and to really step into my power, that is what gave me the strength to leave. But I'm telling you, I didn't do it on my own. My spirit team was here for me. That is how I was able to fully go through it. But it starts right in here. It starts right in here for you to start looking at yourself and loving yourself. If anybody is watching this and they are going through this, or they have family members who may be going through this, there is information for you. I am a healer. I'm a spiritualist. I would love to work with you and help you to build your spirit. But first, let's get you safe. Now, I do have some information right here. And however you can write down this number or have this number somewhere safe, here, take a screenshot, take a picture with your phone, however you can do it, so that you can find help. Because we deserve love, and we deserve much better than this. All right, guys. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you think about all of this. And remember, love yourself.